Gabble, gabble.
Fresh tires.
What was that? The Shia LaBeouf buff thing where he's just like, just do it!
Just do it.
That was so good.
Hello, everybody. Happy Black Friday. How do we sound today on this lovely, the beginning of the holidays? That's what we call it, right?
Sure.
Kyle, how was your Thanksgiving? I see you are not in your standing spot for the shot. We just see your butt. Pretty awesome
just see
way
my
to
butt.
start off the stream.
You just by looking at my butt. Well,
Sounding great, Midge. Thank you.
okay, that's good. Thanksgiving was nice. I made some old-timey German
Pinball
food,
Mayhem, Jeremy, good to see you.
and it was tasty.
That's awesome.
How was your
Okay.
Thanksgiving?
It was very nice. It feels
Excellent.
weird. We're doing PinTech on Friday.
I know. What's up
and
with
so,
this?
I'm like, it's Thursday right now. Wow, there's a ghost in the studio.
Where?
Something just fell off of your table.
What?
The
Is it-
ghost of Christmas past.
Yeah. Is it that part that I've been looking for the past 15 minutes? It must be. Sorry, y'all. I'm actually trying to find something. But whatever. Now I screwed up my parts box and it won't close. So.
Oh, there's Kyle, everybody. A big round of applause. I should
Howdy.
have a cheer track. Hello, everyone in the chat. Pinball Mayhem, Jeremy.
Hey.
Dragor, Pin Daddy. Midge.
And Steve.
Steve.
Thanks
Steve
for-
is Midge, by the way. That's his nickname. Because that's sort of his last name.
Yeah, it's kind of part of his
I
last
like
name.
saying
So
Midge.
I'm looking for my small box of nyliners. And
oh, no. Nyliners. I just replaced when you replace nyliners, it's very much like taking your pinball machine to the dentist. And then you have your old nyliners, right? Like anything that's like where you see like a white off-white just kind of turn brownish
nasty.
over time, and then you put fresh ones on. It's like so satisfying.
Yeah, it kind of makes a huge, massive difference. I'll have to do surgery on my parts box later. I think something underneath got stuck, so now I can't like open a drawer or close a drawer, and that's the drawer I need to get into. So.
Oh, nyliners and acorns. Nyliners are what you put on the coils, right?
Yeah, the old Bally
Yeah.
games use them on their flippers,
So
and
it doesn't. I'm not gonna do that motion.
this game
Well,
uses it on a
everybody-
diverter. So
Oh wow,
there we go.
that's crazy. Nice. I didn't know you could use nyliners up top like that.
Nyliners can be used anywhere because now we've got solid rotation ability for this lovely little diverter on the game.
Awesome.
Look at this sweet thing. Look at the wings broken. Boing. Whoa.
So today, as you guys saw, we are going to be reassembling this Indy500. We've been working on it for several weeks, and now we're trying to put it all together, and we're gonna all take bets to see if Kyle knows how it goes back together without taking pictures.
Yeah, well, here, everyone place their
dun,
bets, and I can quickly answer that question for you. So, bets placed.
No, yeah. D. Valansky, not a coil sleeve, I know. I mean, so the plunger, right, for the coil, is that the right terminology for it? You put it
Yep.
around it so the metal does not scrape to the metal. And then I was going to do a motion of what that looks like, and then I decided not to.
Yeah, it's not
yeah,
PG, huh?
I am still learning, but I figured that one out because I did have that problem with my flippers, and the metal was scraping on the metal, and then I had to put a nyliner on there, and it fixed the problem.
Yeah, the Bally linear flippers are amazing, but they do leave two parts where metal can't touch metal, which is problematic. This is satisfying. We've got a brand new
Carrie
set
Hardy, hello.
of plastics.
Ooh, yay. Okay, so before we get in, don't rip that off yet. We have our few announcements.
Oh yeah.
One is Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And I hope you have checked out our website today. For the entire weekend through Monday, Cyber Monday, we are doing our free shipping for orders over $99. That's free domestic shipping.
Ground shipping.
Not just today. Yes, domestic ground shipping.
You don't get free.
USPS,
You don't get
FedEx.
free overnight express shipping. Just FYI.
Sorry. But it'll still come decently fast.
Ooh.
Knock on wood. My table's plastic. Sorry. But yes, so for our domestic customers, everyone living in the US, not just 24 hours, but through the weekend and through Monday, you can experience the joys of that free shipping deal. And we have a few more deals too. So it's big news. So $5 off all our t-shirts. That's good, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
That shirt Kyle's wearing right now is $5 off. We have Feel the Stern shirts. We have our Marco Wizard shirts, which are usually $30. They make great Christmas presents.
They do.
As
And
long
they
as
also
you know
make
the
great
sizing.
fashion statements because that is some pretty rad art. I get complimented on that
Hats.
shirt all the time, which I think is hilarious. And not just by my wife, by actual other people's.
They compliment you on your Marco Wizard shirt?
Yeah, because it's super,
Aw, makes me happy.
I'll say
It's
BA
colorful.
instead of badass. Oh, almost said it.
And what else do we have? We have
Some money off
on our
tools.
highlights page, on the front page, you can see that we have select tools that are all 10% off. This would be great for y'all in the chat that are still developing your pinball toolbox. We have a couple of great tools that Kyle always uses on the show, and they're 10% off. It's awesome.
You can never go wrong, or you can never have too many tools. Just remember that, right?
You might
Everyone
lose
always needs more tools.
It's a nut driver set, the hex key set, all sorts of great stuff.
Yeah.
Dave said, my money is on Kyle. We'll figure out how to put it back together. But on the first attempt, a part will remain that should have gone in first, and 3 hours later, the job will be done again. Oh my
Unfortunately,
gosh, he likes predicting the future. That's exactly how it would happen.
Oh,
You get
he
it, like,
knows
all
me.
Stacked up, and you're like, oh, this one piece is supposed to go under here.
Oh yeah, no, well, David knows me, but
Okay.
this also happens very often to everybody. So, yeah, I mean, pictures would have been nice, but I think the real problem is just the amount of time between when we start these things and when we actually finish them. You know?
Oh, sure. You took off that ramp about 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Yep. And and here's the thing, I can kind of remember what happened yesterday, but I definitely can't remember what happened 5 weeks ago. So
Oh.
this will be a fun experience.
Well, thankfully, we have awesome resources like ipdb.org,
Yup,
where you can look at picture references
that's right.
of your game.
Some good ones over there. Also, again, the other thing too is like a lot of this stuff just goes back together. So yeah, you might put it together wrong or something might not look right, but it'll snap. You'll be like, okay, yeah, that's where that goes. So we'll figure it out.
So that was less knowing Kyle, but knowing pinball.
Yeah,
He's
that
done
too.
it before.
Always. But here's the thing is if, you always keep all your screws in one place or something, if you don't have screws left over when you're done, you're doing it wrong. If you always have to forget at least one screw when you put these games back together.
I don't like it. Awesome. All right. Well, Kyle, I know you're just ready to get into it, but we should do our product spotlight because I'm kind of excited for this one.
Yeah, let's talk
It's
about
random. And it's something everyone could use.
Yeah, pretty much. Are you going to run something fancy like a little video or what?
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, Pinball Toys. Thank you for watching with the UK. That's awesome.
Hey.
We're going to our product spotlight right now. I keep putting this mouse in my face. Here we go. It's totally.
Wow, look at, it's the wrong camera. It's looking at
Oh.
my belly button. Hey.
Oh no. Oh no.
Switch it. Here, I can just
Switch it.
shrink down. Oh, wrong camera again. I could go
I
here.
actually don't have that other camera in here.
Did it die?
It's a new camera.
Well, here,
This is how
we can use this camera. Mylar. Everyone needs it. It's not evil. You should always have some around. Let's talk about Mylar. The things people don't like about Mylar is definitely the old stuff that's been on your game forever. But what did that Mylar do? It protected your playfield. This game has Mylar on it. Heck, having your own, even if it's not a 3-foot section, having a little bit of Mylar around is definitely something you need for your toolkit. Do you want to protect something? Do you want to keep something from wearing a little bit more? Do you want to create a piece because the ball ramp just totally drops the ball straight down onto the wood and now it's starting to splinter? Great thing to have, Mylar. I'm trying to learn to be a pitchman. We
Here,
sell
look over
Mylar
here.
by the foot. Oh, hey.
All right, show them what we have, Kyle.
We have a 5-inch wide piece of Mylar that is about 3 feet long. Mylar is a Mylar, I guess, technically is a, what's it called? A trademark. It's like an actual product name, but we could also call it adhesive-backed clear thick plastic. It is sticky on the back. You could cut this to whatever shape you need to be able to protect things on your pinball game. I do have a decal on this game that is delaminating a teeny bit. The decal, it's kind of getting goofy. I was thinking I could cut a small section of this Mylar, cover it up, and it's good to go. It will continue or keep it from wearing in that spot. We've used Mylar on this show a few times to protect a few places on the game, such as when we were working on my roller games many weeks ago. We installed Mylar pop bumper circles. We used this Mylar here to cut a small square and put it underneath where the ramp dumps the ball into one of the orbits. It's good to have around. It's also very inexpensive, so keeping a little square for future projects is really handy. We have pieces that are also the same width as the playfield, so if you wanted to cut a Mylar sheet or a Mylar center section to cover and protect the center of the playfield, that's also a possibility. Mylar, it rules. Get some. Is that good?
Fresh
That
tires.
was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
That was as good as it gets.
What you
Yeah,
like?
Mylar. So yeah, the Mylar deal we have going on right now is if you use the code "cut your own," you get that sheet for 99 cents. It's
Yeah.
3 foot by 5 inches.
A nice long piece of Mylar. You
We'll
know,
put that in the chat.
generally what you would use that sheet for, again, is like, if I'm looking, can you put the above camera on?
Yes.
And these are factory pieces that were put on to this game. It's a little bit blown out. Let me turn the brightness of this light down just a tad. Which one is it? It's this one.
Oh, thank you.
That helps. We've got some Mylar sections in like high wear areas. Williams realized that, I mean, pop bumpers always have needed Mylar, but they would always apply Mylar to this area. There's a teeny piece up here at the at this ball gate here. There's some small pieces here on the entryway to this orbit. Williams also started putting little pieces of Mylar here where the ramps would dump out into the in lanes. So you can use Mylar to not only protect a high traffic area or cover up a semi-repaired or damaged high traffic area. I don't know. It's handy. It's a lot of people end up taking Mylar off their games or they want to know how to remove it. But I spend a lot of time putting Mylar back into places. I have a friend that restores old Bally games in Nevada, and when he fixes and touches up a playfield, I mean, he'll cut his own Mylar full sheet and put it on the game before he's done. And really, I mean, that's almost better than a clear coat. The finish might not look as good forever, but it's going to actually protect the game a lot sturdier than a clear coat would, right? We see like with all pinball games, a piece of steel. A steel ball is harder than birch wood with a clear coat is. So Mylar actually will also help from, keeping little dimples and all those sorts of scratches out of your game. So I don't know. Give it a shot sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Diva Lansky said, I have EMs that I wish I had Mylar installed decades ago where the ball lands out of a saucer kick out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Around saucers or it's handy.
Jeremy said, great for protecting small paint touch-ups.
Absolutely.
Nolan said, putting over damaged inserts too to prevent further damage. All great suggestions.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we're going to talk about another project we might work on later in the show, but I got this old, I got a really cheap Strikes and Spares, and,
yeah.
Sorry, it sounded like something exploded outside.
It did sound really weird. I'm not sure what
that.
Oh, I heard it again. They're having race car drivers right outside.
Maybe. Well, like all morning,
there's been
for
Indy500.
There's been a bunch of like F-16s flying over, a bunch of fighter jets flying over this area, but that was odd. Anyways, I got this cheap Strikes and Spares. It's got very typical wear for a very heavily played Strikes and Spares, but I've used Mylar to also repair like cupped inserts also. If you want to get real arts and craftsy and just so you can have an old game that's kind of worn out but actually plays good, cutting teeny little circles of Mylar to try to even out a super cupped insert. I like Strikes and Spares. Do I want to spend $800 on a new playfield to make it like really nice? Like, will we just play it this way and like kind of fix it so it plays smooth? Probably. So yeah, Mylar is pretty versatile. Another tip, sometimes, and you could get these pre-cut, but using like a Mylar flipper button protector, if you ever wanted to lay Mylar down but be able to take it off without the adhesive really sticking super hard, wax. If you put down like a good coat of wax underneath where the Mylar will go, it will adhere, but the wax will also help it tear off a little easier too if it ever needed to come off. So something I've learned in my experience. So
nice.
Anywho, yeah.
So wax before you Mylar, and then it'll be easier to take your Mylar off later if you need to.
Yeah, I mean it'll still adhere very tough, right? It's not like it's going to get all loosey goosey, but it can make for removing it easier if necessary. Because the problem we have, right, is with our games that have Mylar that's been adhered for 30 plus years, it starts taking off all of the silk screening along with the adhesives.
Nice.
So.
All right, so Kyle, you're putting together this game.
Yeah,
what's going on here?
We're going to kind of remember how to do it, and I hate how sometimes I need to. I like to have everything in one place when we go to put these games back together, but sometimes it's a luxury. I'm still waiting for LEDs for this game. But the nice thing with this era of Williams game is you could actually remove all of the general illumination sockets from the bottom. Unlike older games where they all had to be installed through the top. So I can reassemble this game without any of the general illumination. It's going to take a little while longer, but it lets us have some forward momentum. So I was thinking we were just going to kind of start piecing it back together. There are a few pieces I need to work on. When they got this new set of plastics, check this out. Here's something that people should learn how to do. I'm going to go over to the camera over here. We've got this plastic, and it's got a anti-stucky ball protector riveted to the plastic.
Oh.
So what we will do, this would be very easy to rivet back on. The rivets are very close to the edge. It's not a problem. But as long as space allows us to do it, we could also get a very small number 6 screw, possibly. Thinking, though, this is also very, very close to the edge, so we might not be able to use a screw unless we got creative. But we have to rivet this piece on. So I won't be able to put this guy back on yet. That being said, we could use like a flat topped screw here possibly, but riveting is also easy. What this was supposed to be an example of is that if you have these plastics and you're going to change them out and you need to drill these rivets out and you do not have a riveting tool, you could use some cheap threaded or small threaded hardware. Riveting is very cheap. Screws cost money. So again, if it wasn't a space constraint like this one might be, hardware works just as good. I don't know. Pro tip.
Nice.
The real pro tip is really just learn
It's
how to
crazy
rivet
that
and
they-
get a
that
cheap
they
rivet press.
riveted it instead of doing screws, because I don't know.
It's
Seems
just, again, the rivets are flat, so that's why the rivets were probably there. And also, most of those things were riveted on just because rivets are cheap. Hardware costs money, so, you know. But this is kind of just a chill stream. We're going to work on getting this thing back together. It's going to take a while to get this thing to go back together. We've got all of the actual hard work done. I spent a while this morning reinstalling. We were putting some new stand-up targets in, but I realized I accidentally got 2 small 3D yellows instead of 3 big 3D yellows, so I'm missing one here.
no.
I have to put together a couple of these orange ones as well. So.
Daniel said you can use soft aluminum rivet, Kyle.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've got a riveting tool, so it's not a big deal, but a lot of people don't, or maybe, you know, do not want to invest in a riveting tool. I think it's worth getting. We've got a small, cheap rivet press on our website that works very well for those sorts of things. What is difficult is finding a rivet press that has enough reach, one that has depth. A lot of times when I'm putting a ramp back together, when we replace a ramp, you know, what needs to be riveted is very far inset. So having something with like 6 or 8 inches of reach is really handy. But yeah, let's see what we can get.
When Kyle says this is a chill stream, wanted me to constantly remind y'all to ask him questions. Any questions you like. Since this is our random Friday stream, most people are out shopping or maybe hiding from their families or shopping online. I don't know. What do people do on Black Friday?
Yeah, what do people...
Working, hopefully not working retail.
Yeah.
If you are.
Any of y'all that are working retail right now, maybe on your breaks.
Ask Kyle questions relevant to Indy500 or to your games.
Yeah, ask whatever. The problem with this game I was going to get to was that this thing was like cobbled together. It's complete, but a lot of the stuff was broken and we had missing plastics and missing this and that. So it's going to be an exercise in patience to get it back together. Let's see. I'm going to put the flipper return lanes on because we totally know where those go. That's easy. We'll start cleaning in between too. I always like to sit down with a rag and we get these plastics that we're going to reuse nice and clean. For instance, right, we've got
we
a
got
brand.
raid.
We got raided.
Got raided with a party of 2 from
Hey,
Baz
cool.
Rue.
Hey, thanks for joining us here.
We're doing pinball school today. How to reassemble your Indy500 with lots of Kyle Spiteri.
Lots of guessing with Kyle as he tries to put
our
Indy500.
awesome friends in the chat.
Let's see.
Hi. All right, sorry, Kyle. You can talk again.
No, it's okay. It's nice to be able to just kind of, you know, we could talk pinball. I am very tired. I ate a lot yesterday. I usually don't eat very much, so I'm very like, I feel like I'm at like 30% mental capacity, but I'm probably better than 30%.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You look like a solid 35.
Really? Oh, cool. Okay. I didn't play any pinball this weekend. Well, I don't have any pinball at home, but right now I'm trying to figure out what pinball games I want
This is
to
your
bring
home.
home.
What about night moves?
Here's the biggest problem with cocktail games. Since they are actually a table, they do end up being used as a table very often. As much as I hate it, Night Moves is being used to hold magazines right now.
You can't do that.
I know, it's bad. But unfortunately, yeah, I didn't play any pinball this weekend. I sat and looked at my broken Grand Prix thinking about how I should be fixing that instead of playing video games. So, you know.
Sure, it was your little holiday. Sometimes you gotta get away.
Yeah, sometimes when pinball's your job, it's nice to be able to separate just a little bit. But that being said, as soon as I go online and I watch people being like, oh, it's Thanksgiving and the whole family's playing pinball, and that makes me go like, oh, man.
Oh, yeah. On the pinball enthusiast groups on Facebook, there's so many adorable photos of like little family members, like kids all lined up playing pinball in dad's mom's basement sort of thing. Grandparents playing pinball for the first time in like 50 years.
Getting Granny to come over. She still thinks it's a gambling game.
You have gambling in your basement? Oh, we got a question. Thanks.
I like those.
Thanks for the question, Midge. Question for Kyle. Is the Night Moves is the Night Move soundtrack one of the best scores in pinball or the best musical score in pinball?
You know,
I was gonna take this question so seriously, and as I was starting to read it, I was like, "Oh no!"
I'm going to respond to it seriously. Honestly, yes.
As you should.
I think it might be one of the best scores from Gottlieb for a game. I will say that I think the best score in pinball is probably, like, it's totally serious. Is probably Whirlwind. To me, I think Whirlwind has like the most rockin',
said that before.
super rad soundtrack of all time. But Roller Games is definitely up there. With that limited capabilities of that Gottlieb soundboard, it is pretty amazing.
Do soundtracks not count like Tron, for example, has a really awesome music selection?
Yeah, Tron has
but
a great...
It's not all original. Like
I think that's the
Metallica
thing.
Or Iron Maiden, it's not
unique
to just the game.
To me, it's like, yeah, I mean, you could have a pinball game and shove someone else's music in it, and that's great, right?
Yeah.
In that case, Iron Maiden would be one of my favorite pinball soundtracks of all time.
Ryan Wagner said Swords of Fury and TX Sector.
Okay, yeah, TX Sector is very good.
TX Sector is so good too.
Swords of Fury is pretty good too. It gets
I can't remember.
I like Lion Man. I had Lion Man for a long time, but it does get very repetitive. The soundtrack, that is.
I like Cactus Canyon soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's the
I've
thing.
used a lot of those songs on my Emoto Arcade background videos for like arcade walkthroughs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's good. Good stuff. Oh, wait, hold on. What are we thinking? Total Nuclear Annihilation has definitely the best soundtrack of pinball. Jeez.
TNA definitely has the most solid soundtrack because it's like the integration, right? Scott's music really helps with the choreography, makes the choreography of the game perfect. But like I said, I still think Whirlwind is probably the best pinball music. It's just so rockin'. Chris Granner, the guy that did the music for a lot of Williams games at that time, was just like such an inspired dude. That guy was so talented at working with those, the chipsets that Williams had at that time.
Or Roller Games. I really love the Roller Games sound.
Roller Games is good. Dan Forden was Williams' other sound guy at the time, and he makes a lot of great music too. Dan Forden. You know what has another good one is Bonsai Run.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Bonsai Run has a great soundtrack, and Dan Forden did that one as well.
Ooh, Class of 1812. I've seen that game. I've never heard it. At a show or at like Bang Back Pinball Lounge has it, but it's like too loud to hear it.
It's got an okay soundtrack. It's hilarious. It's just the 1812 overture with chicken clucking.
Oh, that's amazing. That's like...
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Actually, here's another hot take. Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack's arguably the best pinball machine of all time. Also has a great soundtrack.
Nice. We got a few questions for you. Oh, and a dog bark. Hold on.
Does it involve my opinions on pinball music? Let's just turn this into a pinball music stream.
Guard dog was snoring to barking. So your question, we have a question.
Something goes here.
Wait, hold on. Kyle, do you have the Williams Grand Prix EM pinball? That was from Daniel.
Yes.
We need to get that on the show.
One of my favorite games of all time. Probably my favorite electromechanical game, next to Papa Card. Bow and Arrow is also another one of my favorite electromechanical games. I really like spinner-oriented games. I really like, currently I also really like drop target games. Well, I've always liked drop target games, but my goal is to get a Papa Card or a Drop a Card because I have a 2001, and there's only 2 games, I think, that use 2-inch flippers and drop targets, and I think those are the only 2.
Oh, nice. Ooh, PinDaddy41's asking, what are the odds of Marco reproducing a Zechariah specific flipper rebuild kit? Ooh, I
mean, it would be nice. I think, here's the thing, is I need to sit down and I need to get another Zechariah game in front of me. I know that some of the parts are interchangeable with Bally parts, and some of the parts are interchangeable with Williams parts, like old Williams. So if someone wants to donate a Zechariah game for me to sit and look at and like actually put my hands on it to say like, yes, this is totally compatible, I'll do it. If it doesn't require a ton of new parts. Sometimes those things are actually very expensive to... Manufacturing is interesting. I didn't know a lot about manufacturing until I started working at Marco, but manufacturing is a very expensive thing. I wish it was really easy for me to just give parts to somebody and say like, hey, go make this, and then it doesn't cost very much money and it just appears, but it's complicated, man. To find people that will actually make a lot of this stuff is very difficult. Ugh. It would be nice. I mean, we could give these things to a machinist and they could go and machine it out of whatever they have, but then each unit's going to end up costing like $75, $80 each, right? So it's a matter of finding people to manufacture these things, but also be able to make it cheap enough so we could resell them reasonably.
All right, we have, the chat says, we have this awesome little anecdote from Mr. Valansky. He nearly ripped the speaker out of your night moves when at a show, and he was stationed to work near it, and people kept walking away midday, and the music just played and 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 played. I guess he wanted to rip it out.
Yeah, I remember.
That's hilarious.
I remember the text that you sent me. It may have had an expletive in it, but the point was taken, and I made sure I went and turned that game down. That show, I mean, that was the best pinball show of all time. The 2019 Golden State Pinball Festival, but the only problem with that year was that everyone decided that their game needed to be heard. So someone would turn a game up, and then you couldn't hear this one. So people would just end up turning all of these games up until it turned into a cacophony of sound. It was insane. Do you remember that show, Emoto? Were you there?
Which year was it?
2019.
Was it? Yes.
Do you remember how freaking loud it was?
Not as loud as Southern Fried Gaming Expo 2019. Because they just moved into the big hall, and out of the games moved into a giant expo hall with, you know, the 40-foot ceilings, and it just sounded like you were inside of a
Well, that's the thing. Like,
compressor.
even at the Golden State show, there's like 300 pinball games in one hall with 40-foot ceilings or 30-foot ceilings, and everyone decided to turn it up, and it turned into.
I didn't go to Golden State. I was thinking of California Extreme, but yeah, no. But yeah,
Golden State.
Ryan Wenger was asking which pinball machine did you say had the 2-inch flippers and drop card?
2001 and Papa Card.
Papa card.
Or the Add-A-Ball versions, Drop a Card and Dimension. I'm pretty sure the first, and again, we're talking like modern drop target, like hit the target and it falls. And I think Gottlieb put that out on, I think 2001 came first, and that was 69 or 70 or 71. It was just, I think. So.
Nice.
I'm gonna work on getting all these rubber sleeves off of these things.
Joe Past on YouTube said, we have a Cactus Jacks coming to our arcade on Monday.
Yes.
Wow. Joe, if you're still here, what arcade is that?
Yeah, where do I
have Cactus Jacks on location? That's hard. That's kind of a rare thing to see. That's amazing.
If I had one, it would.
I want to go.
Everyone needs to play that game.
I'll mask up for that.
It's so good. Yeah, I'll break my COVID quarantine rules and I'll come out and where do we have to drive? It's such a goofy game. It's just so ridiculous. It's like there's like 60 lamps or something in the center of the game, and they're there to do nothing but be a light show. It's incredible. It's so dumb. I love that game so much. Our mutual friend, Kenny from lovely Orange County, California, he is a huge fan of Cactus Jacks, and he taught me a dance that you have to do while the multi-ball is going on. There's a very specific dance.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember that? Did you ever see Kenny do that dance?
I don't remember. Let's see it. Sorry, I have like a hair on my neck.
Let's see it?
I'm crazy. Yeah.
Well, you have to hold the pinball game. You're like this, right? And then it's just, you have to go like the whole time. Like dance, throw your legs out. You get it if you were listening to the song. It's crazy.
I can see him doing it, and that's beautiful.
It is, yeah. If you're out there, Kenny, we're thinking of you. Okay, we're putting fresh rubber on everything from the top down. And that's an old post. I didn't change that out yet.
Oh, that Cactus Canyon, Cactus Jacks is at Crazy Quarters in Bay City, Michigan.
Man,
MI is Michigan, right?
I need to go to Michigan. There's so many lovely people that join us on here that are from Michigan. I've got many arcades to go to in Michigan. Very excited to go visit a friend of the show, Colin Baxter, at the VFW. Finally get to meet Clay Harrell and tell him, what have you done to me?
That would be awesome. You know, you should do a podcast interview with Clay Harrell.
That would be unique.
Why are you laughing? Why?
He's the interviewer, not me.
So sometimes the interviewer wants to be interviewed. And you could just tell him all about your show and how he's inspired your entire life. Yeah.
Where the heck does this thing go?
Like it. All right. If anyone can help Kyle figure out where that thing goes, we'll...
Has to go around a pop bumper, right?
Everyone has all the keychains. I need to make more swag. My next swag is going to be those bottle openers, magnetic bottle openers that you can put on your coin door.
Really?
I can pass them out.
That's pretty cool. Oh, it goes here.
Skip Natty, rating with a party of 8. Yay!
Whoa, these people are nice to us.
Where
hey,
are
thanks.
You guys coming from?
Yeah, what the heck?
Pinball people? You're not pinball people, but we love you. You are pinball people.
If you want to be
the
pinball.
Pin Turn is here. Oh my.
Wow, and I'm just.
Mitchell Reader is here. Wow, what a great post-Thanksgiving stream.
Wow, how lucky we are.
Everybody here.
Oh, Skip okay. This piece is this piece.
I'm gonna go ahead and follow you, Skip Natty, so we can check out your stream later.
Let's just focus on what we were focusing on for a second.
Oh, so, yeah. Kyle's looking to figure out where this piece goes. Can you hold it up again?
I know where it goes now. It just looked weird because it's actually a stacked plastic. So this is when you are taking a game apart, definitely pictures are important, but if you've got a memory like I do, it's really important to try to get these things back together. we're suffering for Hollywood, right? We gotta make these episodes last, and we only have 2 hours at a time, and I want to do all this stuff with everybody on Twitch. But man, this project would have been done like 3 or 4 weeks ago if it wasn't for us needing to do 2 hours a day, once a week. So just pictures are useful. You definitely want to have good pictures. But again, with IPDB being the resource it is, it's very handy. Also, here's the other thing. If you actually have pictures, if you're taking your game apart, send those to Jay also. Jay might want those things. Having pictures of the games half apart, I mean, if I'm looking for them, if you're looking for them, someone else is definitely going to be looking for them.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Congratulations, Mitchell Reeder, on having a brand new daughter.
Whoa.
You wouldn't have an old daughter.
Congratulations.
Congrats on the baby. He said he named her Elvira Slam Tilt Reader.
Heck yeah. That's rad.
But he was kidding. Just unfortunate, because that would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been a really good name. You need to go change that. Legally change the name. So I think one thing with this game, with the way that these flipper or inlane guides are, oops, I also put these together backwards. Okay, here's a pro tip. Take a look at these guys.
Oh.
I'll put it up. Let me take the top out. You see this piece here? Got an inlane guide. Do you see how the distance between the posts here?
Yeah.
You've got this one here that has a much shorter side on one side than not. So what you're trying to do is when you stack these things, you're trying to get the side that's, I think the shorter ones go on top. They're just a teeny bit shorter, if I remember right. Or maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. No, that's on the Data East or the Stern games. I think the Williams ones are actually both the same size. It's just been a while since I've put it together.
So for those of you who are just joining in our chat from the raid or from wherever, we are reassembling our Indy500. We've been working on this game for about 5 or 6 weeks now. All the episodes are archived on YouTube. And since Kyle disassembled it about 5 or 6 weeks ago, we're playing the guessing game a little. That's part of the fun of pinball.
Yes.
So we're just here chatting and watching Kyle work some magic and figure it out.
Some magic. It feels so wrong to be putting these back together without putting light bulbs in. But like I said, I'm just waiting on my LEDs to get here, and then we will be able to put them in from the bottom.
Nice.
We've got a few more things to do on this game. Like, I'm definitely not going to be able to get this thing back together today, and it's definitely not going to be anywhere near playable for a little while. So we've got but from this game, we have learned a few good lessons. I was really excited to get the general illumination connector rebuild thing done. It's a very simple process, but I think showing people how to do it we did it a very slow and steady way to mitigate the chance of massive problems, right? If anyone was here for that one was pretty good. We do need to Ramtron this game still. We're going to want to put a NVRAM in it. We have an error with the display. Generally, when I work on a game, the flowchart is getting everything electronically sound and then moving on to the playfield disassembly. Sometimes those things aren't exclusive, right? Because you could get the game running, but maybe you need to have some of the things on the playfield rebuilt before you can test if they're actually working or not. But yeah, I don't know. The display. What I was getting at is the display is still out. I believe we have an outgassing DMD, so we will need to replace the DMD in this game most likely. But these are things we probably won't do on the show. I like
Unless you request it in the chat right now. If any of those things sound like something you need to see, let us know in the chat, and then we'll make Kyle record it.
We can probably do the NVRAM. I think it would be good. We've done NVRAM on.
A few times.
What did we do it on? We did it on my roller games, right?
Time Warp? Did we do it on Time Warp?
No, we put a battery in Time Warp.
Fire? Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? No, that was.
We did. No, we definitely put an NVRAM in that, but on those games, it's super easy. You just pull the old RAM out, throw it, and put the new one in. With the Williams games, you do need to solder. So we have not done it on a WPC game. The only other WPC game that we've worked on this show was Bride of Pinbot. And in that game, since we had just done an NVRAM on my roller games, I decided to show how to install a remote battery pack. Yeah, so we should probably put an NVRAM in this thing. This is a computer we haven't had on the show before.
Do we solder or socket it on Indy, the NVRAM?
You have to, solder and socket. All of the Williams games had their RAMs just soldered straight to the board. So since we like to think forward and into the future, we always, if we remove a chip, we always install a socket every time, just to make it easier to change it out. A socket doesn't cost much money, and it provides you with a very powerful troubleshooting
It's like very
thing.
satisfying to update it like that, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It is just watching.
So the only reason we wouldn't use an NVRAM, like for instance, my Twilight Zone, I won't put an NVRAM in that because there is a special mode in very few games, right? This isn't a good reason to not put an NVRAM in most of the time, but if you put a non-volatile RAM into a game, it will not save the time anymore. The way that it works doesn't allow it to keep real time. So there are a few games that have a Midnight Madness mode, and you lose out on the ability to play those modes when you have an NVRAM installed. So, but I don't even know where I was going with that.
I like how your ghost made your flipper just move up on its own.
My ghost or gravity?
No, your ghost.
My ghost? Okay, I like ghosts better.
Because it pushed off the napkin off of your desk, and now your flipper was like this when you touched it, and then it's like, hey.
There are so many plastics in this game. It's funny because the plastics are all really small, but they're not, you know, a lot of games will have like a really big piece of plastic to cover like a huge area, but all the plastics in this game are like oddly fragmented. I think this one goes here. Yeah, this one goes over that ramp. Okay, I'm pretty sure I can safely install this plastic and it won't get in the way of anything. So
can we? Oh yeah, hold on. I'm gonna make you big.
Uh-oh.
Let's see the come up to the screen and do the little.
Can this be like an ASMR
like that,
channel
right?
now?
Yeah. Hold on, twist it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wait, this way.
Yeah. Slower.
Let's see if we can get it in one piece. Oh yeah. This one's easy though because it all kind of comes off in one direction. Ta-da! Oh yeah. Come on.
It's silent peel.
Oh, I failed. Went too fast. Be careful.
Always happens.
If you have a new plastic set, when you're peeling this stuff off the back, right, this is the silkscreen side, and this is kind of like a layer of ink that goes over to protect the art, the color. Just be careful. You can nip a new piece of plastic, and it's pretty depressing. So.
Oh, yeah.
Just be gentle. But yeah, I think it's the little things for this game that are going to make it look that much better, right? This isn't like the world's nicest Indy500, but putting in these little details, I always really like to add new posts.
Looking nice.
They really make the difference when you're trying to present a customer with a nice looking game, right? That they spent their hard-earned money on to get their new toy working or something like that. The little things, like spending a little bit of money on posts, really elevates a game. Flipper bats, posts, cleaning the heads of the slingshots, all these little things, right? Like they may seem really anal. Maybe if you're not the most anal cleaner or something like that, it really makes a difference. All right, this guy lives here. So this Opto board looking at this thing, actually, I do kind of want to take a look at it. This is the this board has one opto on it, and
Can we use your close-up cam?
Yeah.
I feel so far
Away.
And I'm sure everyone else does too.
This board here, all it does is it has an opto in it to know what position the turbo thing is in, I believe. Let me see here. So this is kind of how this works, right? The turbo, what are we going to call this? The bowl, right? You've got an opto pair here, and that detects what one of these has a ball in it. But you notice how this thing also has little notches in the bottom of it here?
Okay.
Those correspond with this, I believe. Let's put it on. Almost, maybe. It doesn't want to see all the way. It needs to go on like this. So when this thing is spinning, it knows using this opto, I guess what, it can track 1, 2, 3, 4, a couple positions. That in combination with these optos here to tell which one of these little channels has a ball in it. When we get it back together, we should look at the test to figure out, it just helps index it, right? The game can tell how many balls are in it, right, by using this, but this helps this thing index and end or begin in the right position. So, but
That's pretty cool.
what I want to see is it looks like someone has done a really bad solder job in repairing this connector here. So I kind of feel bad. We probably should have looked at this before, but let's take a look-see really quick. It worked. I remember before I took it apart, I did verify that a lot of this stuff worked. The whatchamacallit down here is spinning, that standoff. You probably can't see it because it's kind of behind this post, but
Oh yeah.
I'm going to get...
Oh, okay.
This is annoying when with a lot of these old games. You gotta, oops, it's a 1/4 inch, not 5/16. I did break my rule because generally when I do this, I do like to do like clean and then or dirty work and then clean work, and I'm kind of doing clean stuff right now. Well, things are still dirty, but if you won't tell the customer, I won't tell.
Yeah, except the customer's watching.
Yeah, probably. Uh-oh, is he here? Doesn't he have race cars to fix?
Maybe. I don't know. D. Valansky had awesome pro tip while you unscrew that. Said sockets and rivets. They build games cheap with some serviceability. Once it's matured and serviceability is more important, nuts and bolts, if they fit, and sockets are good upgrades.
That is way more elegant than I could have said it, but that is definitely my sentiment.
I had to read it. I had to read it. It was good.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, and for those of you, we say it almost every week in the chat, but if you have an electromechanical game or you want to learn more about electromechanical game, Fun with Pinball does this awesome monthly online workshop for EMs. David is D. Valansky on Twitch. He's one of the coaches, and they go through schematics and how nomenclature and how to fix your games. And if you actually have a game that has an issue, you can sign up with your issue and then have your camera ready. And then you go on, it's kind of like Zoom, but it's a different service, Jitsi or something, and they will help you fix your game. And we just watch, and it's great. So
it's wonderful.
It's on its own thing. It's not on Twitch. Let me I will put the link in the chat. And you just sign up. It's completely free. So it's awesome. And they're so smart, and you learn so much. And again, especially on reading schematics and stuff like that, which is very important for those older games.
Yeah, necessary skill. What we need to do is we need to turn it around, and we need, we'll get David on here, and he will help us fix one of my EMs, or lead me through and give me some more knowledge.
Oh, and Shenny Cuffles is here, and he totally missed your Cactus Canyon dance
Cactus
earlier.
Jack's Dance.
I mean, your Cactus Jack's Dance.
The game with cactus in the title that is
with the cactus, yeah.
Well,
cactus.
there are 2 games with the word cactus in the title, and one of them is superior than the other, and I'll let you know what I think about those games is.
You think Cactus Jack's is superior?
Oh, a bazillion times. I mean, what other games has a dancing cactus in it? None. So, come on.
I like yeah.
I don't remember if a stud goes here or not. See, this is where this becomes a problem. I think this is all covered by this, right? So this guy kind of lives here. That screws into there. That screws into there. That holds it there. This goes inside. I believe that there is no post here. I also see evidence of a locking washer, so I believe that we will definitely put a screw there. See this guy? We've got this post that is from another spot on the game, but see how it's kind of got like it's kind of muddied and it looks kind of crummy?
Yeah.
So
What do you do with that?
Novus actually will help you with that, but sometimes when I'm polishing metal like that, I'll get my green scrubby pad and I will put Novus in it, and then we can rub all of that nastiness out. I'm going to see how clean I can get this without using the Novus really quick and not on camera. I don't know if this what used to be like an oxide finish or if this is just starting to discolor. Sometimes you can't get this crud off. I've noticed working on a lot of games here in lovely, humid South Carolina, you do see a lot more tarnishing on these sorts of metal parts than you do in not humid California. So let's see. I am going to add a little Novus. Let me move the camera and I'll kind of show you. Once you add Novus to one of these scrubby pads, it's basically game over for the scrubby pad though, right? It's you're not going to want to use this on anything else because it starts to saturate. But what I'll generally do is just get this pad with some Novus and then just go to town. It really, really does do a good job of cleaning and getting all of the gunk and nasty off. Novus really is a wonder product. And we're talking Novus number 2. If I'm just using the word Novus, generally I mean the red one. So, yeah, wow, holy moly. You know, it's like, in these things too, they're kind of expensive. Like if you really wanted a shiny game, you could tumble polish this thing or something, but just cleaning the dirt off, really. This isn't a super visible part. It's definitely underneath a ramp, but it does make me feel good to just clean the dirt off. I'm not a high shine polish, put everything in a tumbler, everything needs to be high chrome kind of pinball guy.
Sure. And that's your other option, right? If you want, like the people that are doing like super high-end restorations, they would tumble it. Right?
Well, I mean, I tumble a lot of stuff too, but a lot of people go like super overboard and start like chroming stuff, and that's when it starts to get like...
It's not overboard, that's just preference.
Yeah,
Pez Johnson, always be polishing.
Always be polishing. But I'd say always be tightening before you start polishing, because tightening, having a game that works is better than having a very shiny game, in my opinion. So never forget...
Daniel said, I think some metal parts have zinc finish.
Yes, most of these do have a zinc finish. They're zinc coated, but a lot of people...
But Novus is still okay on it?
Yeah. Novus, again, it's not abrasive enough to like destroy a zinc finish, right? A silver zinc. Data East games that have those gold parts, that's a gold zinc finish.
Ah.
So let's get this tightened back down. Let's see. But the goal is I want to try to get all these plastics on right now because that will help me remember, you know, what needs to go on top. I've already found that I do need to rivet together one plastic because it has a anti-flyball flap on it. That being said, since this game is going to go into a home, it is up to you to install some of those anti-sticky ball things. And some people really dislike the way they look. I think that's being kind of overly anal retentive. It is an important piece, but if it's in a home, you don't really need those anti-flyball things. If it doesn't really bother you to have to take the glass off and unstick a ball, but if it was me, I always would reinstall those things. So let's see. Did you play any pinball this weekend, Emoto?
did, actually. I played Stranger Things with both of my parents.
Excellent.
And they are slowly learning the rules. Slowly but surely. My mom hits the skill shot on that game every time, and I keep trying to explain to her how she's hitting the skill shot so she can do it consistently.
Yeah.
But it's really, she just, as soon as it's like player 2, she just walks up and plunges it, and she gets a skill shot. And my dad's like, I don't understand. So I was teaching them stuff like that.
You know.
How to switch the in lane and out lanes. You know. Oh no. What are you gonna do?
Be sad. That's annoying. I wanted to try to get this thing back on, but maybe I should have watched our video from a long time ago. I think I noticed this when I was taking it apart. This is something we're going to want to get tack welded back together. There's no real cheap and easy way to fix something like this. Well, I mean, it is. Welding it is cheap and easy. It's just, unfortunately, I don't have a welder here. This is an important piece. We can't have this separated like this. When the ball is being flung out of this thing, this is the wall. This guy is the one that's taking pressure. It's not so badly broken, but again, everything is off, so we might as well get this fixed now. I'm going to make sure I take this, give it to the owner of the game, and have him tack weld it back together.
Dang.
Sometimes it's better to do those sorts of things the long way than it is to just, oh, well, let's just put it back together. This game is a royal pain to take apart. It's funny, I got an email from somebody saying that they enjoyed watching, well, you know, not enjoyed and getting pleasure, but enjoyed watching getting this thing off when it was stuck. And he was just saying how much he thought it was funny, because that's how pinball goes, right? So often, something so simple, like removing something that was designed to be easily removed, turns into an absolute nightmare. And I was like, yeah, that's that's evil, but you're right. Like, that is pinball repair in a nutshell.
Absolutely.
Huh. Okay, so we've got all these things on. I'm going to start moving down a little bit. I want to look at these slingshots also. We also need to get these flippers installed and adjusted. That's something else we should do. I need another flipper bat because there is a third one. So let's go under the playfield really quick and we'll get those things in. The only reason, again, I didn't install those flipper bats from the get-go is because they are annoying to remove with these things on. This plastic here gets in the way, so.
Pez said flippers are perfect, leave them.
Yeah, you know, why not? I'm going to get the Williams flipper bat that has the W facing the upward way. Williams used 2 different kinds of flipper bats.
Oh.
Let me show you. Do I have the other one? I actually don't. Huh. So sometimes you'd find flippers that had the W facing this way, which kind of looks like a W, you know, in its resting position.
It's hard to even see the W in this lighting. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And then there were a bunch of games, I think they were earlier games, they had the W facing the other way, and it kind of looked like the Motorola M. So I think around 95 they switched them. Let me see. What does my Twilight Zone have? Yeah, here, check this out. We'll go on a little field trip real quick.
Can it reach?
We'll find out.
Oh. So we don't all get motion sickness.
It's just barely going to reach. Okay, can you see those W's on the Twilight Zone flippers?
Hold on, I'm trying to focus. Sort of.
You see how the W faces the other way? No?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Hold on. I gotta like adjust this focus like crazy. Okay, yeah. Oh,
so there you go.
Wait, there
you gotta.
Yeah. Okay, put the other one next to it.
Hold on, I gotta walk across the room again.
It's not worth it.
All right, now we're gonna go back.
That's cool. That's a cool little
there's like
Easter egg.
Yeah, just a little like goofy thing, right? Like if you really want to make sure you get the right flipper bat, look in your manual and see if it uses this one or that one.
Wow.
The more you know.
It's all about the details.
It's all about the details. See, those are the details that matter to me, not super chrome nuts and bolts and stuff on your pinball game. But, you know, to each their own.
McDonald's, okay. Yeah, exactly. They just put McDonald's logos on them.
Yeah. I think it looks mostly like Motorola to me. All right.
Is there a ban button for Facebook?
Is there a what?
It's like, can you ban Facebook audience members? I'm just kidding, Kevin.
Who are we banning?
Oh,
Colin Baxter?
My favorite. No, we can't ban Colin. Then you have no one to talk about beard.
That is true. All right. I'm going to get these things just a little tight, and I'm going to use the camera on top so we can do another real quick flipper adjusting lesson. So we can get the flippers kind of in the ballpark, hopefully, so we don't need to keep adjusting them over and over again.
Can you adjust the Sony, angle it, maybe a pan from where you're
maybe.
At to the left? I think you just twist it to the left, potentially.
Ah.
Oh, that didn't feel good.
Kind of. You know what? It's probably best just to leave it like this and let me do this really fast because all of the actual good action is going to be on the other side. Give me 1 sec.
Oh, this is like...
It's sad, I know.
We want to see. We'll just go here.
It would be... Having a camera person is useful. I definitely agree. We miss Steve. But this... I didn't realize that so many little things were going to be slightly wrong on this end of the repair. We're kind of thinking we're going to leave Indy aside for a little while. I'm going to get a few things done and like manage to try to get the game mostly back together before we revisit it and finish. But next week, let's get the discussion rolling on what I kind of wanted to do next week. Because I got this... I mentioned that cheap strikes and spares. It's got a lot of ball swirl. And I want to fix it, or try to fix it a little bit. And I wanted you, guys and gals in the chat, to give me a hand. Maybe let's try something I've never done before. Let's use naphtha to try to get some ball swirls out. Even if we aren't using I think I'd rather not use a magic eraser. I don't want to go super aggressive, but
oh, bye, Pin Daddy.
See ya. But I definitely think if anyone had any suggestions, I really want to try to learn something new and using naphtha to repair some of these things. One of the flippers is missing its return spring. Oh, I'm gonna put one in really quick.
So to summarize that, next week we would love to do a getting out ball swirls episode. And in order to do that is we want you in the chat to give us your suggestions on how to get out ball swirls.
Yeah.
So what do you do to get out ball swirls? And then we'll look at all of those and we'll try out a few of them. Kyle has never used naphtha, and a lot of you in the chat in previous episodes have sworn by it. So that's one of the things we want to do. But please put your suggestions in the chat, and we will log them. And then maybe next week we'll have a fun little experiment show.
Yeah, and again, I want to avoid using magic eraser. I don't really want to go that far. The spring is not cooperating. Today's an anti-spring day. I've had a lot of trouble this morning with springs.
Pez says to use alcohol on magic eraser, but just barely rub it.
We can give it a shot. I just know that using magic eraser, I mean, we're going to take off all of what's left of the varnish, right? And I mean, I've always been under the impression that if you use magic eraser, it's, you got to take that thing apart and clear coat it at that point, right? Let's go look at the game. I'm going to take this, I'm going to take the portable camera with me. So if if you want to fire that guy up. I
Well,
won't be
when
able to
you
see what I'm
get
looking
there.
at, so direct me. Tell me when we're on.
I mean, you're looking at the coin door.
So this is the strikes and spares. This is what it looks like. This game was too cheap to pass up, and it looks a lot better now that I have noviced the crap out of it. It took up a lot of dirt, but again, the thing was left forever with the same ball in it most likely, and that's why we have just a massive amount of ball swirl here. There's a good amount up here too. And again, I'm not trying to make this thing perfect, but you know, I was hoping or wondering if using like some naphtha and a really nappy cloth would maybe start to remove some of that. You see?
You should try it. Hey, my new mystery pinball
What's
theater
up, man?
2000. Even Daniel says he uses the same thing and works good for him.
Well, maybe we'll try.
You don't press, you just rub. I mean, you could at least try it on this game and then.
No, why
just a
not,
little
right? And I
section.
definitely think I try it down
part of
here,
it.
right? I always want to try those sorts of things in a spot where it's like kind of inconspicuous, because this, again, this doesn't bother me, right? It looks like crap, but you know what? It's going to be a really fun pinball game to play once it's back together. It's annoying though, when I was really going to town with the Novus, do you see how shiny it is right there on the 500? It's like parts of this like looks really good, and then the rest of it just looks like absolute crap. But I was mentioning also with little Mylar circles, this 5X insert is super, super convex. And there's a little bit of a gap right here, but what we can do is we could cut some teeny little Mylar circles to try to fill up this radius right there. Yeah, this will be an interesting project game. So if you've never played Strikes and Spares, it's really fun. Here's a little behind the scenes action in the studio, but unfortunately the back glass is also shot. But
Oh no.
like I said, it was too cheap to pass up, so it's got some good graffiti on it. I love seeing people, what does it say? Most free games on one ball 6. RMM 331.89. So I love games that have history and graffiti on them. The fact that this thing was being used in 1989 is kind of hilarious, but.
So suggestions from the chat.
Yeah.
Throw them in there, y'all. Kevin Moore said you're going to have to go almost through the Verathane to get most of that out. I would clean, paint, and clear.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is at that point, it's like I'd rather just go spend $800 and get a new playfield and put myself through the pain of doing a playfield swap. So I kind of wanted to use it as like a practice for learning how to use the magic eraser.
I know, didn't it look like there was leg hair on her?
Yeah, it's super funny.
French version.
So remember when we were adjusting flippers to trying to kind of get it right the first time? Remember with flippers, do you want to put the big small cam on? Remember we've got that roll pin that gets pressed into the playfield, and the bottom of the flipper bat should just about rest right there, and that's going to get you in the ballpark. Right? We might need to micro adjust it up a teeny bit so the gap between the inlane guide and the rubber won't make the ball bounce. But this will get us in the ballpark by having, again, the bottom edge of the flipper kind of just butted up against that bit right there. So I'm going to kind of get the camera out of the way really quick and try to run through that with a little bit of haste. Give me one sec. Also remember when you're, I can't stress it enough, but whenever you're doing flippers like this, you need to make sure you leave in end play. Remember, just a teeny bit of play between the bushing and the actual crank. That way, your flippers will have good action and will never bind against the bushing, which causes problems and poor action. The other thing too, when you're doing flippers, I can't stress this enough either. You need to like use He-Man strength to crank down on the nut that holds the that tightens up around the shaft. If you do not use like a massive amount of strength, they will come loose. I'm gonna try to set this gap a little bit better because we're really just looking for a credit card's thickness. If you bought a flipper rebuild set from us at Marco, it would come with a little gauge you can use to set this. It looks about right. Okay. Is anyone talking about naphtha yet?
Yeah, naphtha on a microfiber.
That's kind of what I was thinking first, is really trying to saturate that dirt out with naphtha. I read somewhere that some guy used like rice flour. This sounds ridiculous, but rice flour and naphtha. And there was something about the naphtha getting into those little cracks, breaking the dirt down, and then having the rice flour as a medium to like get in there and pull the dirt out. That, and I think this person was talking about that on a very, very old game. You know, something that you just, you know, you'll never get a new playfield on, you'll never get this and that for. And it seemed like that might be an interesting, albeit very messy way to get that done. I can see here that I assembled this assembly wrong also.
Next week?
What's up?
Are you going to bring flour next week to try?
Maybe, if I can find some rice flour. I don't know why, but the guy specifically said rice flour. He didn't say, like, you have to use it because wheat flour doesn't work, or maybe the dude was just, like, gluten-free or something, but that might be a funny thing to try.
Yeah, Kevin Moore, how about more suggestions? He said, I've used naphtha and automotive wax grease remover similar to naphtha. Have you ever heard of the rice flour trick? Anyone?
I don't know if...
The Crisp 12 said, what is this, like a Twilight Zone? I'm watching you guys installing new speakers and color DMD in Baywatch and creatures from Black Lagoon. And of course, Budweiser.
Budweiser?
I don't get it, but I love it. Yeah, can we get a Creatures of the Black Lagoon and then that awesome LCD, right, mod in the lower playfield?
Where did you find that? That thing's that was pretty cool.
Some guy makes it.
Huh.
And he's selling it finally. And apparently people have been waiting for it for a very long time.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. I was pretty stoked on that. I do like the hologram, right? The hologram is such a fun little kitschy thing, but with technology, you can do some pretty neat things. Ooh, that's
great. Oh, Jacob says rice flour wouldn't be as gummy. Also, think of what it takes to saturate dry rice. So that's why you would use rice flour, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking it had to do something with how gummy it would get.
What? No way. Really? David Painter on YouTube said sand blasting with dry ice.
What? That sounds like 2070 technology. How the heck? That's so cool.
Dark Fiber said removing adhesive from playfields, Goo Gone, and flour is great. No idea why it works, but it does.
Yeah, I know so I don't know why the flour works too, but I have used that method. Generally, when I remove mylar from playfields, I just use a heat gun.
I hate you.
The heat gun really does a good job if you're very thorough.
Nice.
Or not a heat gun, I use a heat dryer. Heat guns can get way too hot.
I was like, it sounds like it would melt, but that's cool.
Yeah, they can get too hot, and you don't want to melt. You want to loosen the adhesive. What's up?
A hair dryer?
Yeah, I use a hair dryer. Okay, that's nice and tight. Is it the right level? So yeah, I think I'm gonna go get a can of naphtha, and I will also try to get some rice flour or something because that sounds like about as much effort. And I will get a magic eraser. We'll try the magic eraser.
You know why you have to use rice flour?
Why?
Because Ball Swirl is gluten positive and rice flour sucks up the glutens.
Amazing. Huh.
I had to read it.
Maybe I need to go on that
Oh,
gluten-free
my
diet
God.
since it ruins so many pinball games.
We have a real question. Yay!
Yay!
Jason Golf on YouTube. Thanks. I appreciate this. Back on track. Why do the clips on my 8-Ball Deluxe's orange hats always break?
Because it's a bad design. It's just
Oh.
plain and simple. It's like they're not thick enough. It's annoying. That's about as good as I can give you. I mean, have you put new pop bumper caps on and they're still snapping all the time?
What can you do? Just
Keep
not play
spare
the
ones
game.
in your spare parts bin. That's about as much as you can do, really.
Spares.
They're very delicate. What the question is for people who aren't familiar. Actually, I do have an example. Here, let's go on another field trip.
Field trip day.
Off we go to the Kings of Steel that is kind of sort of broken, that needs a little love.
Oh God, this is terrifying.
Okay, go for it.
Ready? You are. Nope.
So
Oh, I think whatever you did just. Oh,
I see it moving.
there you go.
So this is Bally's
Ooh.
80s, early 80s pop bumper cap thing. So what you do is you have like, there's two parts. You've got the body, right? And then you've got this big ring, and that clips into the body. And what the question asker was asking is, why do these little clips on the side? They're very small, and they snap ring into this. So I think it's like a combination of two things, right? Incandescent lamp in here gets warm, makes plastic brittle, things snap. That's probably why the 30-year-old one broke. If you're breaking new ones all the time, I think that's where we just, shove it down to bad design. They're very small clips and they're very delicate. So yeah, there's a pro tip. When you're taking these things off, be very gentle. The action is to find the clip. There's 3 of them. You kind of just put a little gentle pressure and cock up. And same thing until you get the thing off. So
Nice.
the more you know. Yeah,
That's great.
tripping on cords.
Look at you go.
Man, look how little we've gotten done today.
It's been good. Yeah, we're almost out of time actually.
Really?
The Crisp 12 says, I use naphtha on the cabinet too. It does wonders before waxing.
Yeah, no, naphtha, I know, okay, so let me preface this. I know that naphtha is basically, ow, ooh, I just pierced myself with solder. Does that mean I have lead poisoning now?
Yeah.
All right, well, it was nice knowing y'all. I'm gonna die now. I know naphtha is basically lighter fluid, and for whatever reason, like, you can't get naphtha in California. It's like one of the evil chemicals, and that's where I have done most of my pinball work, but lighter fluid is very similar. And I've used lighter fluid to very gently clean all sorts of things, but I've never really tried to use naphtha again to like, get the ball swirls out. So I'm very curious to try that. So I think maybe the methods we will do is like straight naphtha with a wet and try to wipe and wick that nasty crap out of the varathane. Method 2 will be naphtha and some rice flour, and option 3 will be using that magic eraser. I think we will do that
Awesome.
next week. That sounds like it could be pretty fun.
I'm excited. Switch it up a little bit. Does anyone else have any other pro tips on how you get ball swirls off of your playfields? Put them in the chat. We'll try them.
So the other thing I'm thinking is what we're going to do is, now that I have this really crummy game, is we get...
Option 4, all of the above. Nice.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the end goal would be really fun to get our good friend Ashley, as soon as it's safe, to fly down from Rochester, New York, to help me touch up that playfield a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
If we can make it look pretty enough, then maybe it's deserving of some paint or something. I don't know.
Oh, Turin, that's a good question. Turin asked, do you have different scrubbing methods like toothbrush or rag? The 1 and 2, you would use just a microfiber cloth?
No,
And then 3 is magic eraser.
honestly, I don't like using microfiber cloths to clean things because they're too fine. What I do like using is like this bath towel that's sitting on my bench here, something that's got like good nap. What ends up happening is like when you're cleaning and you're using a product with a microfiber, like all of these teeny little, these naps here, they just turn into like a clump and they don't like hold their shape, if that makes sense. When I like to clean things, I really like to use like the crappiest, oldest shop towel. And that really seems to do a better job.
Thanks for the follow.
I like to use the microfibers for like finish work because they're very soft and they are very good at polishing and making things shiny. So I'm going to try to find an old shop towel. A toothbrush is a great idea, and I didn't even think about that. So I'm going to go get a very cheap toothbrush, and hopefully that'll allow us to kind of get in and wick that nasty crud out of the Verathane. Yeah.
We have a question from Jason Golf with the 8-Ball Deluxe caps. Is it okay that I glue the 8-Ball Deluxe caps to the hat because they were not aftermarket, or they were neat aftermarket heat stamped?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's how you find 90% of those games anyways, especially when you rescue them from someone's garage. They're either taped or glued on. So, yeah, no, you're totally okay just to tape them on there or glue them on there.
Awesome.
I mean, there's no harm in it, right? It might just be ugly, but at least the things aren't going to fly off, so.
Sure. And since we are in the last little bit 30 minutes of the show, we are open for Q&A. We've been open for Q&A this whole episode. Who am I kidding? If you guys have any questions about your pinball machines that you'd like to ask Kyle while he continues to assemble Indy500, now is the time.
Yes, ask away.
We will start with the Eternal Gremmy asking, this was in relation to you not being able to use naphtha in California, but is that what compelled you to move? The beautiful Columbia, South Carolina.
Absolutely. I'm very passionate about naphtha, so I decided to move my life so I could actually spend more time with naphtha. No, I moved
I'm sure
because
there were some other words in there.
I moved because Marco said, "Hey, we want to give you a job," and I said,
"You wanted to do this show."
Okay.
That's why you moved.
Yeah, exactly. This was my idea all along. Yeah, I don't know why. It seems
Kyle
like
hates the Bay Area. That was from Manu.
I don't miss the Bay Area. I miss all of my people, but I definitely do not.
You hate it, but you miss it.
I don't hate it.
You miss the people. You hate the location.
Manu has the wrong impression about the Bay Area. Look, I grew up in the Bay Area. I lived there for 30 years, and
He needed something new.
I needed something new. The Bay Area is just too different now. I hate having to sit in my car for 2.5 hours to drive 50 miles. Now when I sit in my car for 2.5 hours, I am moving and I'm in a different state most of the time.
Yeah, that bridge. Oof, goodness.
Yeah.
Eternal Grammy said, but he still reps Vallejo on his tool chest.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Hold on. Yeah, I got my... Hey man, I still I lived in Vallejo for quite some time. Vallejo is like a second home, so...
Another question from Mr. Golf. How often would you replace the rubber bands on a home game that doesn't get a ton of use?
That's really personal preference. Again, it's like whenever I'd have a customer ask me similar questions, it's like I'd always have to preface it or say it like this. It's like a pinball's not like a car where it really doesn't have like a maintenance schedule. Replace them when they're not bouncy anymore. Do it every other year. And that gives you the opportunity to really get hands-on with your game and make sure that everything is still working. And problems that could exacerbate do not. It depends on the game. Like Williams really liked using these small little studs that were like just wood screwed into playfields, and they start to get loose, and when they get loose they make a gigantic hole and then they fly out. So if you put the rubber on, you noticed it was loose, like, let me fix that now before it becomes a problem. So yeah, and again, it's like if it's in a nice dark room, it doesn't get played a ton, the worst that's going to happen is they're just going to lose their bounce. So When you feel like it, that's the best time to do it. If it really bugs you that your rubber starts to look gray and it's not this fresh, beautiful, crisp white color anymore, time to change them.
Manu said, I'm from New York, so we're cool, Kyle.
I miss you guys. I just don't miss the rest of it. Sometimes. Sometimes I do.
He asked, Kyle, have you installed hardtop for playfield instead to swap complete playfield board?
I've never done a hardtop. Here's the thing. If you haven't been able to tell, I am kind of anal. And little things really, really make me mad. And one of my customers asked me to install an overlay for his Xenon. And I refused to do it because the typeface and all of like the little details on the inserts were just totally wrong. All of the the font for the letters and the line weight, and it just looked bad. They've come a long ways. Hardtops, I think, are a great solution. If they made a hardtop for strikes and spares, I would totally be willing to try it. But just for a long time, every option was bad. So the best option was going with a brand new CPR playfield. And on some games, like that is the only option. I wouldn't put a hardtop on a lot of games. But again, I paid not many hundreds of dollars for that strikes and spares, and a brand new playfield costs 2.5 times what I paid for that pinball machine. So since it's not like my favorite game in the world, it's hard for me to justify to do that kind of work, because a playfield swap is a lot of work. And doing a hardtop is like 2/3 as much work as just doing a playfield swap. So weigh the options. I'd like to do one day though. One day. I used to have a firepower that I wanted to do a hardtop on, but
Jason wants you to come down to Florida now so you can fix his 8-Ball Deluxe.
I love 8-Ball Deluxe.
Sold. He charges $100 an hour plus travel and lodging.
Yeah.
And meals.
Yeah. Hey, if it wasn't COVID time and I had a free weekend, I would come down to Florida and help you fix an 8-Ball Deluxe. I love that game.
It is a good game.
I miss my 8-Ball Deluxe.
We have one at the little tchotchke tourist arcade in Gulf Shores.
Really?
It's in terrible condition. And
well then go rescue it.
But it's cool because it's 8-Ball. Yeah, I know, right? They have a Monopoly, an 8-Ball Deluxe, and a Fun House, and they're all broken and sad.
Yeah, well, but I mean, that's kind of how pinball was for a long time.
But they always have free games on it because it's quarter drop. And people play half of a game and walk away because no tickets are coming out of it. Because
they don't know that they have to play 3 balls, or they don't know what a replay is. And
I always try to be that person that's like, oh, let me show you how to do it. And then the little kids are like, screw you.
Yeah, you try to help people learn how to play pinball, and then people just look at you weird and they're like, what? Go, leave me alone.
Jabba Rouge. Did I say that right? Jabba Rouge. Can lodging be a tent in my backyard? I mean, it's getting cold in MN, Montana. No, Minnesota.
No, dude, I'm a big wimp from California, and as soon as it gets below 50, and I mean, I'm pretty skinny too, so as soon as it gets below 50, I start shivering. So, unfortunately, I need a heater.
Oh, yeah. Jason said, I got my 8-Ball Deluxe in 1986, and it's been in my parents' basement till I rescued it last year. Oh, great job rescuing it. The battery was luckily disconnected. Whew.
Wow.
Kyle talks about battery acid a lot on this show, too. We're glad you're watching, Jason. You should consider coming over to Twitch and joining us on our Twitch community. It's absolutely free to sign up, and you can do cool things like put Kyle's face everywhere.
God.
That emoji right there.
That's cool though. I mean, knowing the history of a pinball game like that for so long, that's really
been in your
special.
For so long. Yeah, absolutely.
The person that I bought that Strikes and Spares from, he
Jobber.
Here in lovely, gorgeous Columbia, South Carolina, there's like one part of town that's just like notorious for being where all the college bros go. it's called 5 Points. Anyways, the guy that sold me this game, his dad went and bought that game out of a bar in 5 Points in like the early 80s or something like that. And but he told me like they owned it ever since, right? So it's kind of neat that that game has been in someone's house for so long. Unfortunately, here's the thing, when you get games, it's like, it always makes me laugh when people are always saying, every single pinball machine for sale now is home use only. Every game is home use only, or it says home use only, undocumented. But it's kind of hilarious, right? I have games that live in the arcade that are so much nicer than people's home use only games. That game's been in someone's house for over 35 years, and it still looks like garbage. So even, no matter how often I say that when a game goes into a home, it turns into a time capsule, it's like, well, here's the other thing. If no one ever takes care of the damn thing, it's going to turn into a pile like that thing has, right? So choose your battles when it comes to people saying home use only and if that actually matters to you or not. Where does this go? Oh, that one goes there, right? Yes. I have seen some home use only old games before. It is kind of magical. When people have like what was it? There was a lady that I worked on a game, and I mean, it's not like it's the world's best game or anything, but it was a Road Kings or a Motor Dome. I don't remember what it was. But like, she had the receipt in it from the distributor, C.A. Robinson, dated like 1986, 1987 or whatever. And that game, she said, this was a lady that had quite a amount of money, a large amount of money, but she was like, oh yeah, we played it for about a year and a half, and then we moved, and we folded it up, and it's been in this garage ever since. So it literally was a time capsule. The computer had a bunch of acid damage, but the game was gorgeous. I just wish it was a better game than Motor Dome, but whatever. The person we sold it to was very happy with it, so. All right. Let's see. Do we have any more good questions? Keep them coming.
Wait. Oh no, that's you, not me.
I do want to do something. I want to do this show. Our fearless leader mentioned something funny. What's wrong?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was sitting having a nice conversation with you in the chat, and then Midge was like, dude, I can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, I can't hear you, but now I can hear you.
My pack died.
Oh, bummer. Well, now you're back. I forgot what I was going to say. It probably wasn't important. Most of what I have to say isn't that important.
All right. Jobber's got a good question. I got to catch up on all of this.
I'm scared now.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? I thought it was going to be pinball related.
I mean, I don't know. That didn't someone like build a stupid robot that figured that out?
Said 3.
Yeah.
Oh.
A 1? A 2?
A 3.
It's like monstrous, like biting into something like that. Ugh.
Pez said home use only equals never replace the ball.
Yep, and that's why that Strikes and Spares looks like the way it does.
And Kevin said, I can provide home use only documentation for $500 for any game that doesn't mean it will be in good condition.
Yeah. Everything's home use only if you're good enough at lying.
Oh, dang. That's awesome. Thanks for coming over to Twitch.
Who switched?
You are now known as JZ Nethan.
Twitch is fun.
That was Jason Golf. Is that you? You came from YouTube to Twitch. That's awesome.
Yeah, one day we're going to make the permanent switch and we'll only be on Twitch for a while, so.
I know, but I'm so scared because we have such great people watching on YouTube and Facebook all the time, and they comment and they have great input, and then they're like, please don't take it off because my work IP something blocks Twitch, and the only way I can see you guys at this time frame is on Facebook. So
let me help you out. You want to get a VPN, a virtual private network, and then you can fake your phone into thinking you're in a different location, and then you don't have to worry about what
There you
you're...
go. Winscribe. Oh, yeah, and we always upload to YouTube later. That's automatically. All of our archives of our streams live on YouTube. So
But it is sad. I mean, we'll wait for it to happen. It'll happen one day, but it's just nice to try to get everybody in the same spot before we just disappear, if we ever had to just disappear. I'm going to try to transfer this double layer plastic over. All these happy race fans. Oh, boy.
Are any of those like Easter egg cameos?
I don't think so, but this one lady's shirt says "Go Kevin," and I have a feeling Kevin O'Connor probably did some of the art on this game. Actually, maybe not.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think the same dude that did the art for Corvette also did the art for this game. So it does say in the credits, though, thanks to Kevin Davey. Who is Kevin Davey?
I'll look him up. We did have a question from Jacob.
Cool.
On Twitch. How does part requisition work for you when you repair? Are there limits on what you can use from the Marco stock? For PinTech?
For PinTech, thankfully, well, okay.
Depends on the game he's working on.
Yeah, let's lay it out. This game is one of my friend's games. He is also he's friend of the company, and he is paying for all of the parts himself for me to do this repair. For the games that belong to the company, which some of the games we have been working on do, we use them to test our pin score systems. The PinTech budget pays for those. For some of my games, depending on the part, the PinTech budget will also pay for those small wear parts, but, you know, that doesn't mean that, you know, Kyle doesn't get to just come into work and be like, well, you know, this game needs a new plastic set because I say so, you know. So, yeah. The Marco stock is amazing. If you want to see what our shop looks like, there is a video on YouTube. James did that, right, Emoto?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a fun video where one of Emoto's videographer friends came down and filmed kind of so what is this Marco Specialties? And there's some good shots of the warehouse in there.
It's about Marco Pinball. He was the producer, director, and I was the videographer.
Oh, sorry, I didn't include you.
It's okay.
You are. Emoto's an incredible videographer.
Yep, it is in the About Us section on Marco Pinball. Mystery Pinball 3000. Mystery Pinball Theater 3000. Who did the art for Lady Luck? Greg Ferris?
What, the Bally Lady Luck?
Which Lady Luck? Oh, yeah, there's two Lady Lucks. Bally is...
Yeah, there's a couple.
Greg Ferris.
Yeah, Greg Ferris did the one for Bally. And I think the other Lady Luck is a Spanish game. And I'm uncertain who did that art.
Hi, Chris Pence. Welcome. Welcome to the end of our show, Mr. Pence. I'm just kidding. We have a few more minutes. If anyone has any question for Kyle or suggestions on how to get ball swirl out of your playfield, off of your playfield,
yeah,
put them in the chat.
Let's talk. That's going to be exciting. I'm actually very much looking forward to doing that now. So again, if I could turn that inexpensive hunk of junk I bought into a game that is semi-presentable, you know, that maybe we'll see that on the streets of Columbia at some point. You can come down here and play it in an arcade somewhere, or a bar, depending on where I decide to put it.
He said, story of my life. Yeah, it must be nice to have everything on hand, Kyle. Kyle is living the dream right now.
Well, that's the nice thing is like...
pinball, he can work on pinball.
When I mean, the only time I never really had everything on hand is when I was just a young, strapping lad learning how to do this. Because then my first real pinball jobs always had massive parts rooms, so I kind of always had everything I needed. I'm very spoiled. But it is amazing. It's like I had all the parts I ever needed on hand, but now I work at where all the parts come from. So the problem is figuring out where those things you need are, because the warehouse is massive. It's actually not massive. It's really small. It's just very dense. There's like 6-7 aisles that have shelves that are, what, 10, 12 feet high, just with drawers as far as the eyes can see. It's kind of like that
It's like
scene
the pinball parts library.
in Indiana Jones when the Ark gets like shuffled away in this like top secret, just a bunch of crap. It's amazing.
Pinball 122 and Pez. No, yeah. If you guys send in resumes, that's awesome. Thank you. We forward those on to our recruitment team. No one has been hired yet, but they are looking at them. And for those listening that did not send anything, we are looking to expand our Marco Pinball team in the beautiful Columbia, South Carolina. If you are interested, then please send us a resume to marcotv@marcopinball.com, and we will forward those to our recruitment team. And they'll take a look at it. And if they don't contact you immediately, don't worry. It's not you, it's me, sort of thing. Everyone's really busy with the holidays, and it may not be something that you're not the perfect fit right now, but you might be later on, and they're considering all of those options.
The other thing you got to remember is
that's how we found Kyle.
Things move a lot slower
to Columbia
down
and
here.
it took a while to get Kyle to come over here.
Yeah, it took a while because I had to move my life across country, but I couldn't wait to get over here. That was so much fun. It was a arduous 4-day car ride in a Subaru Forester that had 3 cats and a bunch of stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, your cats. He had to travel with his cats cross-country road trip.
If you want to get hired, just send a resume in that says, "Hi, I'd really like to be Kyle's assistant. Thank you." And then
if we don't hire you, I promise we probably would be like, hell yeah. But it's not up to us.
Yeah.
We're just worker bees here to provide entertainment and knowledge. Information.
There wasn't a ton of knowledge in today's
Kyle
episode.
teaches us every week about pinball.
Yeah, I tried to.
And then you guys in the chat help keep it entertaining.
Oh, this one goes here.
Beautiful.
This is like doing a puzzle sometimes. Okay, that one goes there. I figured it out. So yeah, it's a very, very good company to work for, though. It is very fun, and it is all pinball. So what else can you ask for? In South Carolina, it's pretty nice. It's funny because it's like it's a retirement state, which is because it's got a bunch of gorgeous beaches. Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, I guess Hilton Head. Yeah.
Well, just anywhere with a beach in the name or like on the water is like total retirement land. But it's pretty. It's full of history. It's very cheap. The food is delicious, and the people are very nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good old Southern hospitality. I am from the South. May not have known that. I'm a bona fide Southerner, Kyle.
Says the.
Welcome.
But you lived in LA for long enough that you're kind of, I would have never guessed that if you hadn't told me that you're from Georgia.
I was born in LA, but we moved to Georgia when I was 7. So I grew up in Georgia. And then I ran back to LA. And then I just travel so much that it's hard, that it's hard to justify paying rent in LA.
Yeah, right.
For a place you're never at.
Okay, here we go. Here's another thing. And again, you're probably not ever going to do this the way I do it, but sometimes these plastics have all sorts of holes in them. You're like, what the heck? I figured out where it goes, but why does it have an extra hole? Sometimes they have these anti-stucky ball posts, so I'll definitely need to be transferring these over.
Are those duplicates, or they have 2 turn left?
No, one of them is the old one, and the other one's the new one.
Oh, gotcha. And it's riveted.
No, these are just screwed into the bottom.
Oh, well, that's good.
That's so makes it easy, but again, this is probably not a problem that you guys will have because you'll most likely do this job relatively quick and all in one go. And I'm sitting here trying to remember how to put it back together.
Pez said, I heard it was mainly pinballs and free coffee. Coffee is a serious business at Marco, for sure.
It is, actually.
Coffee maker constantly going. And Chris Penn said, I worked at 4 amusement companies now, and I'm going to sit this one out. And Daniel said,
don't blame you.
Yes, it's hard to switch to another company. He was working in one company for 16 years and then switched to another, working there for 3 years. Sometimes change is good, though. Change helps us grow.
Yeah.
You grow most in states of chaos, states of change. So
it's different than working for an amusement company. It's just fun that it's like it is in the pinball industry still, but it's not like working, in the amusement business. I never realized that I'd be spending so much time talking and researching different ways to make metal things.
Yeah, and since we're on it, for those who don't know, Kyle, explain what your job actually is. That's not when we do PinTech Live once a week.
I spend Marco Specialties money.
Why do you always have to make it sound so ridiculous?
I spend most of my time getting new parts remade. So spending a lot of time finding parts that are candidates to be remade or repurchasing things. I work with a bunch of people that try to keep everything in stock. And when there's like 60,000 different things in our system that are for sale, it can be rather difficult to keep all these things in stock. But I like to joke that my job is to spend other people's money. It kind of is, but it's also to make sure that our product never runs out of stock, if I'm doing my job right.
And if you see a product that you really need and it's out of stock on our website, there's usually a little email me when back in stock button right there on the top right. And you click that, put in your email address, and it actually sends them a ping. Oops, sorry, I hit my mic. Sends them a ping that people are looking for this product.
But if you really need something and you're very curious about it or looking for a status, it's never annoying to send an email. Well, it's not annoying to me, but asking questions is good, because sometimes if that ping is not paid attention to or not noticed with enough, what I'm trying to say is, don't hesitate to send an email if you need something. A lot of the times there are things that we just can't get again, and we try to mark those on the website with this part is just for reference. Actually, let me talk about that.
Come up closer, because this should be the end of our show. We're 2 hours in.
Oh,
Kyle,
really?
You're not finished with the game, but...
Oh, gosh, no, I'm nowhere near done.
I mean, it's okay.
It's.
We'll have a fun show next week. Back on Thursday.
We'll do some more learning, but... Regular time. The one thing is, I do see a lot of people saying it's like, oh, Marco doesn't have this, or, they're never in stock on all this stuff. And it's like, I noticed someone today saying it's like, oh, this unique part that was only used in one Gottlieb game, Marco doesn't have it in stock, and they've been out of stock for a long time, right? The reason we keep a lot of our stuff on the website still with a tag that says for reference only or no longer available is to keep it as kind of a, let me even preface it back even further. Before I started working here, I used Marco's our website, right, as like a database to figure out what games these parts might go into, or to be able to help find things. The way we organize everything on our website is via the original manufacturer's part number, like 95% of the time. So looking through your manual makes it easier to find the parts. But the reason why like a big section of our website is kind of like a graveyard is to be able to use it as a reference. A lot of the times those graveyard parts are just a picture of the manual, right? But a lot of the times we also try to have pictures of the actual part, whether it's for sale or not. So you can use it as a reference. So a lot of the times when we have those parts that say just listed for reference, it's not likely that'll ever come back. It's not likely that we will ever have the Last Action Hero crane ever remade, right? It's like, that's just, a massive wish list item. But to have it on the website for reference and to be able to have that assembly broken down into each part, it might be useful. We could take down all these parts that we don't have in stock anymore, but that also reduces the ability to gather and gain knowledge just by searching for part numbers or something like that. So that is kind of some of the reasoning as to why we have a lot of those things on the website, even though they'll never be back in stock. So just FYI.
I know. Turin says, it's sad seeing the Flash Gordon Flash module every time knowing I can't buy it.
I know. And see, that one's annoying. I'd really like to get that remade. The problem, and it wouldn't be that hard. I have a guy that can totally do it. It's just a matter of, I don't know. If we have one, I might send that off to have it redone. The thing is I think that used like a xenon bulb or something like that originally, and I think it could easily be replicated by using a high-intensity LED that wouldn't need the same high voltage. You could probably run that board off of, 12 volts like you would like a car flasher or something like that. So if, you know what, here's the thing. Let me ask that person the question. Do you have one?
Turin.
Because if we don't have one, I might be able to use yours as a sample potentially to get it remade. I know someone did remake them at some point,
Take
but
one for the team, Turin.
Well, and you'll get it back and you'll get a new one. But if I could get it remade, that would be great. It would probably be a really.
Oh, his is missing.
Okay, yeah, that's not uncommon. Yeah, they would break and then people would yank them out and never see them again.
LED solution. He says we need an LED solution.
I don't think it would be very difficult. I just need to see if I have one. I might have one. If I don't, I'll try to find someone that does have one. But I know someone made one a couple years ago because I remember buying a brand new one because I literally had one that had caught on fire. So that was a new back glass and new board combo install. So that's a good product. So thank you for reminding me about that. Actually, there's a Flash Gordon right there that someone brought into this warehouse. I will see if it has that board and I will steal it.
Turin, feel free to come on the show weekly and remind him.
Yeah.
You can just be and be like, hey, how's that Flash Gordon go?
Yeah, just like, who's the guy that always roasted me about dropping the drill bit? Are you still here?
Yeah, it was a few people.
Yeah, get back.
That was a few of us. We'll never forget when Kyle dropped that drill bit.
And it was just right under my feet the whole time.
Yeah, Turin said multiple people in the Pinside thread are needing them.
Yeah.
Dude.
Man, I should go on Pinside more often. I just really don't like Pinside. But Pinside would be a good place to gather some of that information. That is a board that I would like to remake. I think we've kind of got, I've been working on getting opto boards redone. The last opto board I want to work on getting redone is like the Bally 6803 trough optos for games like, Dungeons and Dragons, the late Party Animals, like those later games, Strange Science and stuff. But I would like to move on to some of those fun things too. The problem is scale, right? It's like with a big manufacturer, they want to make tens of thousands or thousands of that product, but we need like 50 of them. So it's a matter of finding someone who is totally fine to just make 50 of those things, Anyways.
Well, we appreciate all the hard work you put into that, Kyle.
Oh, thanks.
Making a difference. One part at a time.
One part at a time.
You can work on this game for however, you don't have time to work on this game. You need to go home or do your beer run or whatever you do after this show.
Well, beer runs are only on Thursday, and unfortunately Thursday was also a holiday, so my friend at the brewery, no beer this week, but I have a few laying around.
Poor Kyle.
Kyle,
if you had to read one, Reddit or Pinside, which do you choose?
Reddit.
He's on Reddit all the time.
Well, yeah, but I like the pinball community on Reddit a lot more because it's a lot less, it's civil and not cantankerous, and it's not a bunch of people fighting with each other, which is just super lame in my opinion. So definitely prefer the Reddit community. I post on there sometimes. That's the thing is like, I always wish I had a bazillion hours to sit and post on like the Reddit help threads and like the Facebook help threads. It's just, I don't have enough time to give people all these answers. I wish I did.
Daniel's drinking Croatian Karlovac beer.
How does he spell it? I've had that before. Does it have the Croatian flag on it, Daniel? There's one beer that I used to get from the Ukrainian store by my old house that had a Croatian beer that had the Croatian flag on the label. It was very good. I might work on this tomorrow. Yeah. I might come in and maybe I'll do like an afternoon stream and I could try to get a little more progress done on this guy. I'd like to be able to finish this up in a few weeks, you know? It's a lot of work though.
Good. Well, good work on today's show. Thank you everyone for joining us. Don't forget that we do have Black Friday Marco Pinball Parts weekend deals going on all weekend long and through Monday. We got a lot of good stuff. Free shipping $99, $5 off apparel. Get you some hats, some shirts. The $5 off one works for our international customers too. You can get 3-foot sheet of Mylar.
Yeah, buy some Mylar.
For 99 cents.
You guys are lucky. Our PinTech folks, you guys basically get part of our Black Friday sale like every week. So you guys are the true ones.
You guys are like, man, old news, but you know, a lot of people don't know the PinTech deals we do. So
yeah, we try to keep it
all weekend long.
We try to keep it almost secret. Like that's why we keep the codes like really weird, and we only have them for like 24 hours, so people can't go on and just be like, oh, hey, here's Marco's code. So thanks for not spoiling it for us, and thanks for being here.
Yep, so I'm going to drop that in again. And next week, we're going to do a fun ball swirl experiment episode. I'm excited for that. Kyle, you need to get me some photos of some ball swirl.
I got plenty. Yeah, y'all are going to teach me something, so I'm very much looking forward to that as well. I can't figure out where this dang plastic goes, and it's driving me nuts. Oh, I bet I put those on backwards. Because it goes perfectly right there, except for that doesn't work. Okay, I figured it out. Good job, everybody.
Where's Mr. Valansky? He's like, yep, this is what was going to happen.
Hey, but at least I haven't started layering the game yet, right? When you start getting the layers happening, that's when taking the game back apart makes you just go, argh. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go home and maybe I'll go have some more Thanksgiving food. Or maybe I will work on Grand Prix. I want to work on Grand Prix very bad.
There you go.
I just don't think I actually will, so I'm bad.
Oh. Well, you have some time to think about it.
I know.
And then until next week. And to everyone in the chat, if you have any suggestions for things you want to see on the show, please feel free to email us at marcotv@marcopinball.com.
Yes.
And I will make Kyle do it.
Sorry that this show didn't have like a ton of direction, but I don't know about y'all, but I'm still a little sleepy from all that food, so you know, I needed something just chill.
Awesome. All right, we're signing off. Oh wait, duh. For you the people on Twitch, let's go raid someone, huh?
Oh yeah.
You guys want to go raid someone and hang out a little bit longer in the chat room? Any raid suggestions? So if you're on Facebook or YouTube right now, one of the cool things about Twitch is we do things like raids, and we get to go all together to a new pinball stream. That's why you should join us on Twitch. So I'm gonna look to see who should we raid. Anyone? Sometimes we raid.
Who's live?
Manu Mystery Pinball Theater 3000. One of my favorite streams, but he's not live because he's in our chat. Who should we raid?
Thanks for joining, everyone. Let's see.
Captive Balls, Leet Sandman, Johnny Demonic, Small Town Pinball, Pin Clash with Samuel 49100.
Small Town sounds, I mean, Paragon's awesome. I like Johnny Demonic's stream a lot. Oh. I can't watch it in the car.
Pinball.
So.
All right, we got 2 for Small Town Pinball. We used to raid him all the time, and it's been a while, so I'm glad he's back on. Let's go say hello.
And
thank you guys for.
And he's got Paragon. Paragon's a great game.
Yeah. That's it. It's a great but frustrating.
What? It's a great.
I mean, it's hard.
It's a perfect
like,
game.
That nudge to get the ball to not drain. You have to use all my body weight times 20.
It's got the Beast's lair. What's better than that?
That's true. That's true. All right.
Bye,
See you
everybody.
guys
Thank you so
next
much.
week. Thank you.